Yo, Tony D back. Part 3, Batman Dark Knight, Dark City, issue 454. Peter Milligan on the script. Kieron Dwyer doing the art. Dennis Janke doing the colors. And you have Mignola giving you a warning what you're fixing to get into. This whole series, the 3 issues, his covers really are a dark intro into the book. And I love covers like that. We're in this world of alternate covers that really, it loses the artwork or the intent of the cover. These are refreshing to go back to. We left our hero. He is with a baby. The Riddler has orchestrated all these weird and just out of the ordinary scenarios he's putting Batman through. Batman's exhausted. He's frantic. He has to save these children that the Riddler has. And the Riddler is very obviously manipulating Batman. And we don't really know why yet, but we're going to find out in this issue because it is the last one. Batman, what's really chilling here is he mentions that to perform this, the knife has to be sharper. But really, it gives you that feel again of, is he going to get through this? There were moments of suspense in this series where I really had feelings that things could go the wrong way. When you're watching a movie or reading a comic book where in your mind you're like, yeah, they're not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. But this had me questioning myself, especially with the insanity of the Riddler. And this goes to a place a lot of comic books wouldn't go to in this time period. This is a pretty big step into some controversial territory. And I love how it's just a shadow there where you really don't know what's going on. It's very poetic, describing the procedure. And Batman succeeds, but he has to get the child to a hospital, creating even more frantic urgency. And there he is, our hero. He gets the child there. As we move along the story, we're not sure about the child yet. Critical care. Another tarot card. The tarot cards evokes that flavor of fate, mystical fate. That's been a big tone in this book. A lot of Gothic mysticism. And Gotham really is a character in this book. It won't get, there'll be some more of that we get to. Batman is trying to figure out, he has another clue. He's trying to figure out the riddle, and they're all easy for him. And of course he figures it out, and then we go back to one of the gentlemen that was in that historic ritual they performed where they left the lady that they were going to sacrifice, left her in there and just locked her in there. And the guilt's weighing on them. They captured that beautifully there. And Gotham has just sprung up as this victim's graveyard. It's very grim. And it gets into the detail of her experience of being there and the guilt that he's feeling over it. It's very horrific, very reminiscent of old EC horror comic books. I love it when they do that in Batman books, bring in an element of horror that it's more than just the villain of the day or the week. Batman gets to the next place, and it just evokes all of the chaos, the frantic pace, what is going on, trying to figure out why the Riddler why he's doing what he's doing. The paneling also reflects the chaoticness. And the Riddler's men, they just want to take him out. They're even disjointed from the Riddler. The paneling is really brilliant here. He's in a house of mirrors, and it's got that mirror flow and feel. Great stuff. Batman still has his moves. He does his acrobatics. There's a goat there, and it's another one of those weird things. Why is that there? It makes no sense. And the visions are very dark, very charcoal, burnt in. It looks like cigarette burns. Very ominous, painful. The Batman, he's going to the next place, which is just laid out for him. And I believe there was a child. Yeah, there was a child here. He's getting all the children in fairly, I can't say easy because he just did a tracheotomy on one, but they lead him here. One thing I noticed, the Batmobile is extremely futuristic in this. It's very different in this very archaic Gothic type story, but also looks a little bit like a monster itself. Maybe a little shout out to Barbathos. Just one of those interesting observations you get into. So we're back, and Batman, he's getting some of his precision back. He's making short order. He is the Dark Knight. He is our guy, the man. However, this is where the ritual had taken place, and it's very old, and there's a misstep. Here's our guy, the Riddler. He shoots his own man. He's just mad. The Riddler lays it all out. This is where we get our answer, and it's just beautifully done where you're taken through this gauntlet with Batman, and then you're given this. And it's really, the Riddler is just orchestrating his own psychological breakdown. It's a descent into religious mania. I almost have this feeling that he's being manipulated by forces because it's just so much not the Riddler. But it gives me that feeling that Barbathos used the Riddler to get Batman in this situation. He lays it all out. And all the weird, unorthodox things the Riddler was doing, they're all part of a ritual. And he explains all of it. Each thing he did was a very specific thing to prepare for the ritual. Like this right here, he had to kiss the lips of a hanged man. And see how he tricked him into doing that. The Riddler's very cunning. And there's a lady. Her name is actually Dominique. And it's really great explanations of how the Riddler tricked him into doing everything. The tracheotomy was he had to slit the throat of an unbaptized child, and that's how he tricked him into doing that. The ritual is very grim, but the Riddler, knowing his adversary, tricked him into doing all that stuff. He was prepared. And then it's like Barbathos is talking to the Riddler now, and it's not going as the Riddler planned. He actually tells the Riddler that he is closely related to Batman. I do get this feeling that Barbathos manipulated the Riddler into thinking the Riddler was going to get the power, but Barbathos really wanted Batman here. And he even mentions that he is Gotham, the Dark City. Gotham really is the character. I guess you could say that Barbathos is the embodiment of Gotham. That's a huge plot element, and it was done very well. The place starts coming down, and more of that haunting voice, and pretty much just, it's telling the Riddler it has no more use for him. He starts to burn the place down. If he can't have it, no one can have it. And Batman starts to, is he hallucinating or not hallucinating? And Barbathos is showing him what happened in this ritual and what went wrong. And Dominique was trapped. You have this unfinished ritual. And I had this feeling like, Barbathos is telling Batman that it shaped him. You get into this identity versus destiny. Was Batman created for a specific purpose? Was it his destiny to be the protector of Gotham that it needs? And then You find the Bat figure. He was left in limbo. He really needed Batman to be released, is the gist of all this. Just locked in the pit because the ceremony was unfinished. And then he's seeing Dominique. Is Batman drugged? Clearly he's not. But it's like they have this relationship of brother and sister of the Bat. They even mentioned that, which was very interesting. So really, you're having a completion of this ritual releasing into Gotham. And Batman actually has a conversation with this soul. And this was great artwork where he wraps her up. And Bruce actually mentions that he feels he knows her. Are we related in some way? And the writer really, this is where you get this connection between the two. They're brother and sister of the Bat. And this is where it's just so eerie, where Batman makes it out and Dominique is just a skeleton. And Batman's not shocked at it, but he's got to take her home. And this was beautiful, where he lays her to rest next to his parents. He's laying that piece of, it could be laying the rest of the Gotham part that created him, or giving it finality to where he is what he is. And he puts her next to his parents. Identity or destiny. And Barbathos also mentions to Batman that he is the city's answer to its own creation, which is very powerful statement. Batman resides to he is who he is, and he goes back to the manor. Great ending, great story. The book really went places that books would normally not go. And the Riddler's descent into religious mania was just perfectly laid out, redefining that character. He was influenced. Barbathos was using him. It wasn't truly the Riddler, but if you like stories that redefine villains, and if you're a Batman fan and you like things that deepen Gotham's mythos, and it's not just a comic. This really meditation on fate, on horror, and the soul of a city. If you're drawing stories where Batman confronts forces beyond reason, this is an issue you gotta get.